Proud to serve northeastern and central Pennsylvania. This is WNEP 16, the news station. Now, Nolan Johannes, Karen Harch, Chief Meteorologist Tom Clark with his backyard forecast, and Joe Zone on sports. This is the Newswatch 16 update.
Good evening. The snow is falling and the driving is a bit rough tonight.
Northeastern and central Pennsylvania is being hit with the first snowfall of the new year. Night Beat reporter Bob Costantini has been traveling around tonight, and we find him in Scranton right now. Bob, what is it like out there?
Nolan, if you come over here towards where the road has not been plowed or anything, you see there are about a couple inches of snow here along Music Street in South Side Scranton. Now this hill, which is maintained by the state, is usually a problem during some of the heavier snowstorms. And if we can use that idea as a gauge, then the traffic conditions along this road here aren't really that bad. Around the area, Pennsylvania Department of Transportation crews are preparing for a long night of plowing and cindering roads. All over, most people seem to be adhering to the idea of staying off the road. For the state road crews, that's a blessing.
We find a lot of problems where our trucks get stuck in traffic jam just like everybody else, and in a lot of cases we can't get to the problem areas for that reason. It makes it a lot simpler for us to get the snow off the road if there isn't a lot of traffic there.
Cautious driving is the order of the night, even on the interstates, which are passable but very slick, especially in the mountainous areas. Now, of course, it goes without saying that if you don't have to drive, then don't. Now, most of the roads are pretty much clear, as we said, but we understand there is a problem area that's been just reported along Route 307 in Roaring Brook Township. There are some cars that have run off the road, and there's a traffic tie-up up in that area, but most of the roads, as we say, are passable tonight. Bob Costantini, live with the Instacamp in Scranton. Nolan, Karen?
Okay, thank you, Bob. Because of this snowstorm, we have a few school cancellations or postponements for you. The Dallas Area School District will have a 1.5-hour delay tomorrow with no morning kindergarten. And school officials advise you to watch Newswatch 16 this morning at 6:30 because if the roads get really bad, they may have to cancel class. The Ready, Set, Go Nursery School in Larksville will be closed tomorrow. Classes at the DePaul School in North Scranton are canceled tomorrow. Student advising scheduled for tomorrow at the Penn State Wilkes-Barre campus is postponed until Thursday. All schools in the Stroudsburg area and East Stroudsburg area school districts are closed tomorrow. Monroe County area Voc Tech School no day classes tomorrow, and the Pleasant Valley schools are closed tomorrow.
Let's find out the very latest now on the snowstorm and go out to Tom in the backyard. Tom, is it as much snow as you expected earlier this evening?
Nolan, it's a little bit less than I expected at 6 o'clock. The snowstorm is almost over in northeastern and central Pennsylvania. In some of the northern counties, the snow has ended, and it's because of dry air coming down from the north. Take a look at this map here. You can see a little red dot up there over the O in snow. That's the Wilkes-Barre, Scranton area. A band of snow extending from northeast to southeast, and it's ending from north to south as that dry air erodes away the snow pattern from north to south. The rain-snow line is now just south of Philadelphia and New York City, and that will continue to move southward. But as I mentioned, very light snow now in the backyard. I measured just about 3 inches on the ground here, and like I said, it's almost over. The wind is picking up from the north, though, and I expect some blowing and some drifting of snow later on tonight as temperatures drop down into the upper teens. Karen and Nolan will have a little bit more later on.
Okay, thanks, Tom. Even before the snow got heavier tonight, there were accidents on the roads in northeastern and central Pennsylvania. In Scranton, a man was killed when he was run over by a Colts bus that he had just gotten off. 72-year-old John Kelly was pronounced dead at Scranton's Community Medical Center. An accident along Route 307 near Lake Scranton was just one of many crashes in the area late this afternoon. As Newswatch 16's Bob Reynolds reports, one of the most unusual accidents happened along Interstate 81.
This tractor-trailer for a short time was actually part of a Scranton clothing factory. It smashed into Gold Star Manufacturing after its driver lost control on snow-covered Interstate 81. Trucker Ken Gilbert jumped clear shortly before his rig smashed into tons of concrete and wood. Afternoon, and Matt Brigido also had to be quick on his feet. A runaway truck was heading straight for him.
I went out to open the door to investigate, and I seen the tractor-trailer coming down the hill, and someone yelled, "Jump back in." And as I did, that's when the trailer hit and the force knocked me against the retaining wall over there.
What kind of thoughts were running through your mind?
Nothing, just get out of the way. And when the tractor trailer hit, I thought I had it.
Officials say Matt Brigido was lucky, and so was another plant employee who was working in an office only 10 to 20 feet from where the truck ended up.
It just scares you a little bit.
Despite all the frayed nerves and all the damage, no one was hurt, and the factory will continue normal operations. As the storm continues, state police know that they're going to be very busy. They just hope that they won't be called out to something like this again. Bob Reynolds, Newswatch 16, Scranton.
Coming up, testing the air in the schoolroom.
Bicycling. For some, it's a lot of fun. For others, good sport. But for Rich Meeker of Plymouth and Dave Lettieri of Scranton, it's a way of life. WNEP-TV 16 is proud of these two men because they have been invited to participate in training exercises for the 1984 Olympics. 40 people have been invited. 25 will represent the United States against the world. We wish Dave and Rich the best of luck in training for the Olympics and ask that you give generously to support our local stars.
There was a small protest in Wilkes-Barre today. Members of a group called Justice for Animals demonstrated outside Pennsylvania Gas and Water Company offices in Wilkes-Barre. The group is upset over the killing of 6 beavers at PG&W Springbrook Reservoir. Officials think the beavers may have multiplied, a parasite in the drinking water that causes giardiasis. But the animal group feels there are better ways to handle the beavers than killing them.
We just feel it is ridiculous to try to kill the beaver and leave the other animals around. They're carriers. But humans also as well can carry it, and we believe that the beavers were not the culprits but the victims.
Of the 6 beavers killed at the Springbrook Reservoir, 2 were found to be suffering from giardiasis. The congressmen who represent part of the areas that have been affected by the giardiasis outbreak is back in the area. Congressman Frank Harrison held a news conference in Wilkes-Barre today to announce he's running for re-election. Last week, Harrison was in Central America learning more about the problems in that part of the world, and some people criticized him for being away from his district during the giardiasis problem.
Clearly, if there were something that I could have done to alleviate the crisis by being here instead of in Costa Rica, I would have been here. But it's unlikely that my presence would have added to the filtration of the water.
And Harrison says members of his staff were available to work with local officials while he was away.
School officials in Northumberland County say the transfer of students out of 2 schools in the Milton area because of asbestos went smoothly today. Students at both the Milton Senior High School and White Deer Elementary had to pack up their books and head to other classrooms. It's all because of dangerous asbestos in those 2 schools that Newswatch 16 first showed you last week. Air tests were taken today on the 2 Milton district buildings. The results are due a week from today. But some scientists tell us the tests will prove nothing, and that as long as the asbestos insulation remains in the schools, there's a chance cancer-causing fibers could linger in the air. Still ahead, Joe Zone will tell us what basketball games were played tonight.
But first, meteorologist Tom Clark needs a little help as he heads out to the backyard. So, Tom, will tell me to present this to you tonight from Karen and myself.
Thank you very much.
You're going to need it.
I'll need this to get to the weatherboard in the back. Like I mentioned, about 3 inches out there, and this will clear it out just nicely. A little late for Christmas, huh?
Yeah, right.
Thanks a lot. We'll have all the facts and figures on the storm and when it's going to stop and what it's going to be like tomorrow when we come back.
You ought to get out this fall and tour a United Way member agency in your community. From the very young to the very old, United Way serves thousands of your friends and neighbors each year. Visit an agency and see your United Way contribution at work and give generously cause, thanks to you, it works for all of us. The United Way. Call your United Way today.
Well, we're assuming he has shoveled his way out to the backyard. Let's find out how things are and how deep it is. How about it, Tom?
Okay, Nolan, the shovel's working just fine, by the way.
Good.
Just barely snowing now in the backyard. This storm is fizzling out awfully fast, but indeed the first important snowfall of the season, and probably won't be the last. Look at the temperature now in the backyard. It has fallen down quite a bit since what it was at 6 o'clock. The reading now is in the 20s over most of the viewing area. The humidity is quite high as well, and the old barometer is rising still, okay, because we have colder air coming in. It weighs more than warm air. It's heavier, and the barometer should be rising there, okay? North at 12 miles per hour. Look at the temperature for the high today, 37, 22 the low this morning. Make that the current temperature. That's the low so far today, folks. The normal 32 and 18, records 57, and one below, set back in 1942. And there's the live shot in Scranton, where, boy, it doesn't look like it's snowing too much there as well, and traffic moving along quite nicely. Okay, let's take a look at the satellite view. Lots of clouds in the east. The storm system causing all this snow coming up from the south, up the coast. Warm air coming in off the ocean, meeting colder air coming down from the north. And another invasion of Arctic air has taken place over the northern part of the country. Up there now in Hibbing, Minnesota, it is 21 below zero. Very cold air coming down. We will not see sub-zero temperatures here, but I think tomorrow night we could go down into the single numbers. The nowcast shows us where the storm is. There's the center of low pressure way down in South Carolina, but you have this warm air meeting cold air right up the coast, and just a thin band of snow now, like I showed you. There's the rain to the south, the cold air coming in. There's the back edge of the clouds there. It is clear across most of Ohio and Michigan. 12 below now up there in Lansing, and we will be feeling that cold air blowing in town tomorrow. Here's the forecast for the balance of tonight. The snow ending in the Wilkes-Barre, Scranton area between about 12 midnight and 3 a.m. It has already ended in the north, and by about 3 a.m. it'll end down towards Bangor and out there in Shamokin. Temperatures in the middle teens for lows tonight, about 16 in Mountaintop, holding to near 20 in Bangor, down there in Northampton County. Storm totals tonight, well, it has already ended up there in Towanda, out in Williamsport. They have 3 inches on the ground, about 4 inches up there in Towanda and Monroeton. About 4 will be the snowfall total in the Wilkes-Barre, Scranton area. I said 6 at 6 o'clock, but now down about an inch or 2, 4 the total in the valley. About 5 up there in Dallas, the back mountain area. About 7 up there in Mountaintop, down towards Hazleton. 8 to 10 inches in the highest elevations of the Poconos. About 7 in Allentown. 6 Clark Summit, Dalton, up in that area. About 5 in Shamokin, and about 4 the total in Sunbury. Now tomorrow, a cold wind will be blowing down from the north all day long, gusting up to 15, even 20 miles an hour at times. A few snow flurries in the morning, some clouds, and then brilliant sunshine in the afternoon. A beautiful, bright afternoon on the way, and 20 will be the high in Clark Summit, about 22 in Laurel Run, 24 in Bloomsburg and Lehighton. Out in Lock Haven, Clinton County, your high tomorrow, about 23 degrees. Dry air coming in, rising barometric pressures, and bright sunshine. Give us an optimistic view on the Health Watch. Your mood should improve over what it was today. The snow will be ending very shortly in town. Cloudy skies the balance of the night up until daybreak, 18 for the low. Sunshine coming in midday and afternoon hours tomorrow. A beautiful afternoon, but lots of glare off the snow. Sunglasses, a handy item. 23 for the high, some sunshine on Thursday, clouding up a little bit by Friday. A little bit of light snow I see as a possibility on Friday, and rather cloudy on Saturday. So, Nolan and Karen, this storm has ended. It's not even snowing in the backyard now. So it's tapering off from north to south as I speak.
All right, a lot of relief on the parts of a lot of people right now.
That's right, yeah.
Good.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay.
And it's the show of shows for Pennsylvania farmers, and they're enjoying every minute of the 68th annual State Farm Show this week in Harrisburg. Visitors are seeing and learning many different things: computerized home and farm money management, counting calories in popular foods that we eat, and all the options now possible with our telephone service. While all this is going on that you see here, tonight the crowds watch Pennsylvania's master farmers honored and took part in the largest folk dance festival and concert in the nation. Fun and frolic at the farm show.
Always a good time.
Absolutely. And coming up next, well, the snow did stop some of the basketball action tonight.
But where they did play, Newswatch 16 Sports was there. Joe Zone will have all the scores and highlights when we come back.
Serving all of northeastern and central Pennsylvania, this is WNEP-TV.
If Big Jake had been labeled "Handle with Care," he might be alive today. Big Jake was a 25-pound lobster who has now gone to that big lobster pot in the sky. About 3 weeks ago, the lofty lobster crawled into the limelight when he was caught off the coast of Long Island. He was sent to Alaska and put on display, but then the trouble began. This lobster was so lovable that people started handling him too much. Big Jake got weak, so they decided to send him back to the Atlantic. But once in Boston, Big Jake got even weaker. So on the way back to Alaska, he died. And that's the tale of Big Jake the lobster, but his memory will live on. His stuffed shell will be put on display in Alaska.
Oh, I got sick in Alaska once. I mean, Boston once too, right? I don't know if it was mishandling or what.
I don't know.
Too bad.
Moving along to the big stuff. Baseball writers have just voted, just came in, 3 new members to the Hall of Fame. Harmon Killebrew, great home run hitter. Don Drysdale, great pitcher. Luis Aparicio, a great shortstop. Luis Aparicio. Great shortstop. The 3 are now in the Baseball's Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Joe.
Okay, baseball out of the way. Let's talk high school basketball on the sports screen. They played at Scranton Prep tonight, and our 4th-ranked team came through with a big win over Dunmore. Undefeated Prep in white. Paul Madison to Pat Casey for that layup. Dunmore's Sal Marquez with the ball, takes it the length and scores. Now watch. Prep's Nick Bavilla, he hits. That's Rick Bavilla. He's from 18 feet. And then Dunmore's Joe Haggerty gets the jumper from the corner, and he's got 2. Paul Madison for the 12-0 Cavaliers. 2 more as they go on to an 18-point win tonight. Now, the scoreboard, the games that were played. Number 4, Prep 1, and West Scranton over Central were in the Lackawanna South. Elsewhere, Wyoming Valley Division 1, number 13, Valley West beat Bishop O'Reilly. Keystone Big 9, Danville over Central Columbia, 44-42. Schuylkill League, number 3, Pottsville beat Tri-Valley. Number 12, Tamaqua over Jim Thorpe. Elsewhere, number 9, Weatherly beat West Hazleton, 52-51. Northern Tier West, Mansfield and Wellsboro the winners. And number 14, Gaelton over Elkland, 56-40. Centennial League, Northern Lehigh and Lehighton won their games. Pocono Mountain beat Pleasant Valley, 58-56. Nazareth, Salisbury won their games. Southern Lehigh and Saucon Valley. And in East Penn, number 5, Allentown Central Catholic won, and so did Parkland. Elsewhere, Allen beat Whitehall, Deer over Bethlehem Liberty. Easton knocked off Phillipsburg in the East Penn, Emmaus over Bethlehem Freedom. Okay, that's the high school scoreboard. Now, let's check college basketball. By the way, if you didn't see your score, you didn't play tonight. The snow got you. Okay, college basketball, number 7 knocked off Houston 69-58, and number 10, St. John's, trailed by 10 at the halftime, came back to beat Connecticut 68-65. Okay, one other final, Hartwick over Kings tonight. They did play, and the final there was 68-51. Now, to the NBA. First off, Cleveland knocked off Milwaukee 117-104. Atlanta 103. Golden State 101. Chicago beat Indiana 105-104. Kansas City 112. And Dallas 102. All right. Let's move it along. How'd you like to set or tie 5 school records and still get your swimming clocks cleaned? That's what happened to Wyoming Valley West today. Valley West and Bishop Hoban, both 5-0 going in today. This is the 500 free, and Hoban's Chris McCall will touch at 5:07:28. That right there, a new pool record. The Hoban boys set 7 pool records at the Valley West Natatorium. The Spartans set or tied 5 school marks themselves, but the Argent team just too powerful. Here's another pool record, Hoban's Tim Adams. He's a former sports star in the 100-yard back. Bishop Hoban wins their 149th straight league meet, 110-62.
Looking at the records board and knowing that they had a few records to go after, they just got pumped up, and they were really ready for the meet and went after it.
College wrestling, a tri-meet for Bloomsburg. They beat both Indiana, Pennsylvania, and Shippensburg. Now, National Hockey League scoreboard, Islanders 4, Jersey 2, Quebec over Pittsburgh 7-1. Elsewhere, Hartford beat Minnesota. The final there was 6-3. And the fish and game forecast for tomorrow. Trap fish, remember, they can get giardiasis too.
No, fish cannot get giardiasis.
I was just reading the signs at the Save the Animals.
Yeah, Save the Animals, right. Oh, I just didn't want that to go by, without a challenge, right? I mean, after all, she didn't know who Luis Aparicio was either.
Never heard of him. Jeez, and I'm a baseball fan, too.
Thank you, Joe. And still ahead, Tom Clark will tell us what it'll be like when you drive to work in the morning.
We'll slip that information into the newscast when we come back.
Finally, tonight, let's check in with meteorologist Tom Clark once again.
What about the people out driving tomorrow morning to work?
Okay, Karen and Nolan, first of all, the storm is now ending over Wilkes-Barre, Scranton from north to south, the snow line. Tomorrow morning, partly cloudy skies, temperatures in the upper teens, nothing more than a few light snow flurries. But the wind chill factor, Karen and Nolan, down close to 0 tomorrow morning. Just a little bit of blowing snow. Most of the roads should be okay.
Okay, so it's not so cold that the ice will form. It'll be very icy on those roads, is that right?
There'll be some icy spots,
yeah, okay.
Especially secondary roads tomorrow.
All right, fine. Very good.
Okay, thank you, Tom. And that's our report for tonight.
And next on Nightline, we'll have more on the new U.S. representative to the Vatican. For the first news of the day and an updated list of cancellation and postponements, join Frank Andrews, Dorothy Lucy, Noreen Clark, and Jay tomorrow morning starting at 6:30.
Good night.